In the previous video, I showed you how to insert text from files into a Word document by coming to the Insert tab and then selecting the text group and then the Object option here and coming down to Text from File. And the point that I tried to make in that video was that whenever you're coming to insert text from a file, you need to always make sure that what you're trying to insert into these Word documents is something that matches the acceptable file types that are shown here in the filter. So there's several different file types that you can use, but if the type of file that you're needing to insert is not in this list, then it's not going to work. You're going to get error messages. And I'll just show you here. I'll select text from files, and then we'll select the weekdays.txt file, and I'll insert it. And here we have just the days of the week coming in from a file that is just the days of the week. And there's nothing special about these. It's just plain text. You can edit it. You can change it any way that you'd like. And it's just text from a file that you've imported into your document. But this is the only way that you can insert text into a file and make it be just plain text. Now, the other option that there is, or the other method of inserting objects into a file, is to use Insert, come over to the text group, and then select Object, and then come down to Object itself. Don't select Text from File. And here we have much more latitude about what we can insert into the file. But what you need to know is that what you're going to be inserting at this point is an actual object. It says that right here. This is the object dialog box. And we have two ways of doing this. We can either create something that's new, or we can create from a file. The first thing I want to do, though, is to show you what I mean by an object. So I'm going to come up here right below where we have Saturday in this list of the names of the week, and I'm going to insert a different kind of object, and this time it's going to be under Quick Parts, and I'm going to select a field. A field is a kind of object just like what we're going to be inserting from other files. I'll come down to Create Date, and I'll select the format here for the long date, and then I'll just insert it. And so here you see the date has been inserted. Now I want you to learn about using the Alt F9 key. Alt F9, and this works in Microsoft Word. It's not going to work the same in PowerPoint or Excel or Outlook. But here in Word, we'll hold down the Alt key and then tap on the F9 key. And what you're going to see here is something that looks weird. It's not going to be the date that's showing. It shows that something has been inserted here. It shows the Create Date command. It shows that the date's going to be formatted as the full date name is spelled out, and then the days of the week, the month, and the year. Alt F9 is a toggle. You can turn it on to see the inserted object code, and then you can Alt F9 and turn it off and see what actually is generated in that field that we placed in the document. So you see here the difference between an object, in this case it's a field, versus inserting just plain text. Notice you can even tell the difference when I highlight everything. I'll do Control A and select it, and you can see that it selects everything on the page, but you can see that the field is highlighted differently than the text above, and that's because we're sort of getting a double highlight over the field, and we can tell there's something unique about it. And if we were to hit the Alt F9, we can tell for sure, yep, there is a field in that location. All I'm seeing is the date, but Alt F9 tells me that it's a field. And notice that the Alt F9 doesn't affect any of the text that we inserted from the text file. Alt F9 will only show us the script that's generated in the Word document from whenever we inserted an object. So with that in mind, let's Alt F9. Now let's go to Insert and then Object. And this time we're going to insert an object, and we'll just scroll down over here under Create New, and notice you can insert Adobe documents, you can insert all kinds of things. We'll just start here with inserting an Excel worksheet. So when I select this, it's going to insert an Excel worksheet. And what it does is that it actually creates a worksheet inside of your Word document, and it opens up Microsoft Excel. But notice that Excel is sitting here inside of your actual Word document. What you're seeing down in the window below looks like a Word document, and what you see up above, up here, shows us that it's a Word document. But we have here just an instance of Excel that has opened up inside of Word. And we could build this spreadsheet. We could put anything in here we wanted to put. And the way that you get out of this, all you have to do, there's no way to come up here and click on anything to close this. But all you have to do on any object that you place in your document is just click somewhere outside of that object. So I'll just click right here. And there you go. And I have now this Excel spreadsheet that I placed inside of this Word document. If I want to go back inside of this spreadsheet and change anything, I just have to double click on it, and it will take me right back into the program that created it. And then I could type in some values or whatever it is that I need to do, then click out of it again, and all of that has been saved. Now, to show you that this is in fact an object that we have in here, when I click on it once, I see the dash line with the selection handles around the corners and sides. So, and plus, I'm going to click off of it now and hit Alt F9. And now I can see that I have two embedded objects in this file. Alt F9 will always show you what you have embedded into your file. Alt F9. Now this was just creating a blank worksheet. If I wanted to insert an Excel file that already existed and I want to insert the data that's already inside of an existing Excel worksheet, then I would come to Insert and then Object, select Object. This time I need to create something that's already existing in a file, and I'll click Browse, and I have here a spreadsheet, and I'll click OK to open that. It's in an Excel spreadsheet format, and there you go. Now I have an Excel file. To show you that it is in fact an object, I'll hit Alt F9, and now you can see that I've inserted 3 objects. Anything that you insert from Insert and then Object, when you select anything and insert anything from the Object option here, anything you select and insert into this document from this place is going to be an object. It's not going to be text. So I'll hit Alt F9 and you can see that spreadsheet. Now if I double click on the worksheet here, it's going to be the same. It's going to open it up in Excel. I can come in here and change anything that's in here and then click outside of it and close it. There's all kinds of things that you can insert here. But just remember that if you're going to insert an object, if you want to insert something that's already existing in a file that you've already created, you can insert it by coming to Create from File, click Browse, go and find it, and then OK to insert it. But be careful, sometimes you'll be told to link to that file. And if it does tell you to link to it, be sure you check on the Link to File option here. What that does is that if anything in that file ever changes, then anytime you open your document, then it will always give you the live data. You could also, rather than show the actual worksheet like I did here, I could just have this show up as an icon. If I wanted to insert this file but not actually see the data, but just see an icon that I could double click on, I could display it as an icon. That's what that option is for. So I'll click OK. We'll actually come back to New here, Create New. And again, notice we can insert Adobe files. We can insert all kinds of objects here. We can insert charts, graphics, all kinds of things. And if I click here on WordPad document, then it'll open up. Now notice anytime I click to insert, and I'm going to insert new, now that's going to be an empty document, isn't it? Because all that we get whenever we select to insert new is the blank documents themselves. So here is WordPad, it's opened up. Down here we see the WordPad object, and so I could type here a poem. a little poem that's not really a poem, is it? But as I typed it in, you could see that it was being entered here into the document itself. So anytime that you're entering an object through Insert and Object up here, if you use the first option to create new, you're going to get a brand new object that you're going to have to fill in the content yourself. If you create it from a file, then you'll be inserting something that's coming from an existing file.